Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and today we're going to look at a super budget phone from Blackview. Okay, so this is the Blackview A7 PRO. This is a Android Nugget phone, so that's 7.0, and is a completely bargain budget basement end of the spectrum. This is a super cheap phone. Now you're looking in the UK around about £50 thereabouts, depending where you go. On eBay I've seen them for like £50, on Amazon a little bit dearer, about 60, but I'll put some links in the description below so you can check out the prices for yourself. Being this is a 2017 phone, the prices are going to carry on dropping until stocks are exhausted, so you may be able to get hold of a complete bargain with this phone. So let's have a quick run through the specs. So you're looking at a quad-core 1.3 GHz CPU. That's the MediaTek 6737, running 1.3 GHz, as I said, I think. I've had too much coffee today, I do apologise. 2 GB of RAM and a 16 GB ROM. You can also back that up with an extra 32 GB SD card, which fits in the back. It's a dual standby SIM phone, so you can have 2 SIM cards in there, one for play, one for work, and you can take 2 different sizes of SIM, so you can use a micro SIM and a nano SIM. So if you've got on a slightly older phone and you're still on a micro SIM, you can take the SIM out, put it in here and you're up and running. You don't have to worry about getting your SIM card cut down or going crazy with a pair of scissors to try and get the damn thing to fit. So that's some of the horsepower specs out of the way. Now the actual physical size of the screen is a 5-inch IPS display, and it's running at 1280 by 720 or 720 by 1280, depending which way you hold the phone. So because it's a smaller screen and it's a smaller resolution, you also get a great pixel density. So if it was a 6-inch screen or a 5.5-inch screen, it probably wouldn't look quite so sharp, but apparently this does look quite sharp. So that's most of the specs out of the way, that's the boring stuff. Let's get this thing out of the box and see what we get. Okay, so out of the box you get if you can get it out of the box. So it comes with a jelly protection case cover, whatever you want to call it, and that's easily removable, he says. So nice clear transparent case. Now you'll see the phone this particular model is in gold, and it's got a kind of like a cross hatch, almost like a brushed metal effect on the back there, which I don't think is metal. It actually is plastic, but it gives the illusion of being metal, so that's quite nice. On the front also you get a screen protector, which I believe is already in place, or was that part of it and I've just broken it? Oh yeah, there is a screen protector underneath there. So it comes with a screen protector pre-applied, so let's, now I've really messed things up. Right, that's the screen transit protector off. Let's get rid of that. Where's my bin? Oh, I missed it, damn it. Okay, so the screen protector is on there already. Now it's actually got some bubbles underneath it, so I don't think it's been protected very well. So that's the phone with the screen protector on. It's just like a plastic screen protector, not a glass one. I guess glass ones are available, but I'll find out and I'll put some in the description if there are. So looking at the front of the phone, you've got your 5 megapixel front facing camera, you've got a notification LED, you've got your earpiece, and on the bottom you've got 3 capacitive buttons, which are your normal Android buttons, so you're keeping all of your screen real estate, you're not losing any of your screen to the software buttons, so that's pretty good. Moving on to the side, you've got the volume up and down rocker and the kind of like sleep or wake button. Also doubles up as a power or turn on button. On the bottom, micro SD charging point. Now this comes with a micro SD charger, which is 1 amp hour, which isn't great, but you'll still get a full battery charge in about 3 hours on 1 amp hour. Also on the bottom of the phone is your microphone hole. Nothing on the other side. On the top you've got the trusty good old 3.5mm headset jack. I'm not sure if there's a headset included, but we'll find out in a minute. So moving back round to the rear, you've got your odd place for a speaker. So you've got a speaker on the back, so if you've got this in your pocket or down on a desk, it's going to be a bit muffled. So that is one criticism I've got of this phone already. The speaker is in a pretty weird place, but we'll move on and see what it's like later. Fingerprint reader on the back, which again for a £50 phone that is a great inclusion. So fingerprint reader on the back, and you've got a dual camera. Now you've got an 8 megapixel and a 0.3 megapixel camera there with the flash. Now the 0.3 megapixel camera, the point of that is to give you the kind of like bokeh effect on pictures, you know, like that blurry background, but whether or not that's going to be any good, we'll find out in a minute. So let's have a look inside and see what SIM card trays and things we've got in here. The rear case is pretty good, quite sturdy, although it's plastic, but it's going to take some knocks, I'd imagine, and being the fact that it looks like it's kind of like a scratched metal effect, if you do drop it, it's not going to completely destroy the look of it, so that's a plus point. Now there is actually like a little groove in there to remove it, so you get your fingernail under and just pull it off with no problems at all. So you've got a 2800 mAh battery, which is removable. There we go. And there's a little tag on the top to stop it discharging or exploding in transit. So you've got a mini SIM slot and a nano SIM slot, and next to that you've got your micro SD slot. Now, as I said, both those SIM slots are both sort of standby mode, so you can't use them both at the same time. It's one or the other, but you can switch between the two within the software, so that's pretty good. So just get a battery in, fire it up, and see what it's like. Okay, so there you go, there's the boot up process, Blackview, powered by Android. So while that's booting up a minute, let's carry on and see what else we get in the package. So we get our user manual, which is kind of nice. Not often you get a user manual these days, especially if you've got like an iPhone or something like that. So, interesting boot up. So, micro SD charging cable and your micro USB charger. That's a 1 amp hour, I believe. Oh no, interestingly, the description in the Amazon description was wrong. It's actually a 5 volt 2000 milliamp hour, so that's going to charge a little bit faster. So that's a nice addition. Wasn't expecting that. Well done. So here we are on the welcome screen. So let's get started, shall we? So we haven't got a SIM card, so we'll skip that for now. And we'll set up as a new device. And let's connect to the Wi-Fi network. Okay, so we've got the Wi-Fi in and everything's going really great, so click on skip, and we want to skip add an account because we don't want to do that quite yet. Now Google services, yeah, we'll have some of that, and skip the fingerprint. There is actually a fingerprint reader in here, as I discussed, but I'm not going to add that yet because that's pretty boring for you to see. So let's get to the main thing. That screen looks really dim. Okay, so that's better. So we changed the brightness settings, and as you can see, the screen is quite nice, quite a punchy, vivid display. It's an IPS panel, so it should be quite good. So let's have a look and see what the camera's like. So as you can see, well, I don't know if you can actually, it's a very stock installation, and the app drawer is got hardly anything in it. There's virtually no bloat at all, so that's a great thing. So let's try a few shots with the camera and see what it's like. We'll try a nice box shot. Okay, so there's a little bit of a shutter lag there, but nothing too bad. And let's try a picture straight into a light. That kind of works. And the cameraman. Now, the various options on here, you've got video, photo, face beauty, and blur. Let's try a blur. Now you set your focal area. So this is the same picture as before, but with a bit more blur. So we'll see what that looks like actually. If I go back to it now, let's go back into galleries. Oh, sorry, photos. Actually, it's not great. I'll do a big full screen so you can see it, but it's captured the surface area. It's captured the sensor area okay, but the background is horribly blurry. Not great, but still, it's a £50 or $60 phone, so you can't expect too much. Now you've got other things now. You can do mono, so you can do your black and white shots. And there's a pro setting, so you can adjust your ISO and all those other things yourself if you want to. But I would imagine most people are just going to use the just standard photo or video mode. So let's try some video now and see what it comes out like. And there's no image stabilization on this whatsoever. and focusing. Yeah, you do get you can do some manual focusing. Now, it doesn't cope very well with the changes in light by the look of it. It's quite a blur there. Try and get some close-up video of the plug. Okay, that's enough of that. Actually, last time we did this, we did a close-up picture of the plug, just so you can get an idea of what the level of detail it can capture. So let's get some focus on that. And again, we did some text last time, so it seems only fair that we do it this time as well. So not a great angle, but we'll see what we can get. Okay, seems alright. And actually it's quite responsive. Let's try a bit of face beauty on the front camera. Oh dear, actually that looks really bad. Don't know if the colour's really bad or if it's just me. Let's try and get something with a bit of colour in the background. Let's try that with face beauty mode on and see what happens. And it just blurs by the look of it. So it's going to make me look like an alien, more so than usual. So that the front camera with the beauty mode is pretty awful. Let's try a mono shot. Hopefully you'll be seeing these pictures up and around here. Yeah, it's not too bad. Again, for a £50 phone, it's the sort of thing you can take around with you. You don't have to worry about it. You've got fingerprint unlock. It looks a lot more stylish than what it actually, the price would sort of say. So actually, talking of things that it can and can't do, the speaker, we haven't checked out the speaker yet. So let's try a YouTube video and see what the volume's like on the speaker. So let's try Mike's unboxing, because at least I have the copyright to that. And let's have a look at the Fitbit factory reset.
It's your friend's birthday and you want to find something just right for them. What do you choose? Download the Amazon app and let the perfect gift.
So you've got the speaker on the back.
Just seen your mum.
So it's going to be really easy to muffle that.
Get it for them right now.
It's actually not a bad sound.
Code and buy with one click. Or you can add it to your wish list and come back to it later. Plus, we'll give you...
Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and today I'm going to do an updated video of how to do a factory reset on the Fitbit Charge and Fitbit Charge HR. Two methods of doing
there with it flat on the deck. So actually, it's not too bad, and it's actually reverberating against the table, so it sounds better than what it would.
Change the account of this to someone else's dummy account, which I will show you in another video, which I'll link up in.
So not too bad.
For this to do the hardware reset.
So let's cut that, and I think we're done. So actually, when you go to the close down your apps, you also get an option to close programs or for some kind of whitelist. So you can choose which apps can run in the background to save yourself a little bit of memory, which is nice. And if you click on the X button, then you get your phone set to optimal conditions, so it deletes as much as possible, or sorry, shuts down as much as possible. But actually, all in all, it's not too bad. And I wouldn't say there's any real lag there. And the weight of the phone is actually about 175 grams, I think. So it actually feels a more quality product than you would expect for this kind of money. Again, I keep on harping on about the money, but this is a £50 phone. For £50, at the moment, you can basically buy yourself a kind of like a Nokia 3310 or whatever it is, which is basically a feature phone, doesn't have the internet or anything. It's basically it will do nothing. This for £50 is a fully featured Android phone with reasonably modest specs: 2 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of ROM, SD card storage, fingerprint reader, dual camera. Quite a lot of boxes it ticks there. So anyway, I've probably waffled on enough about this phone. I am actually really impressed with this, and I'm going to try and do some more videos with this as a daily driver and see how we get on. So subscribe to keep up to date with what goes on, and if there is an update to this phone, then it will be in your inbox when I do it. Anyway, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. This has been the Blackview A7 PRO, available from the links below, and we'll catch you again in the next video. Thanks for watching.